Method overloading is a feature in Java where two or more methods in a class have the same name but different parameters. It allows the same function name to be used with different arguments. The number of parameters, their types, and their order differentiate the overloaded methods. The return type of the methods does not play a role in method overloading. Method overloading provides a clean and easy-to-understand code to perform different operations with the same name. Method overriding is a feature in Java where a subclass provides a specific implementation of a method that is already defined in its parent class. The signature of the method in the subclass must match the signature of the method in the parent class. Method overriding is useful for implementing polymorphism, where a single interface can have multiple implementations. It allows for more specific behavior to be defined in the subclass while still maintaining the same method name as the parent class. The return type of the overridden method can be the same or a subtype of the return type of the parent method. Method overloading and overriding are important concepts in object-oriented programming because they provide flexibility in code reuse. Method overloading allows developers to create multiple methods with the same name but different parameters, making the code more readable and easier to maintain. Method overriding allows for polymorphism, where objects of different classes can be treated as objects of the same parent class. This allows for more flexibility in designing and implementing software systems. By using method overloading and overriding, developers can write cleaner and more modular code. In this example, the calculator class demonstrates method overloading. It has two add methods, one that accepts two integers and another that accepts two doubles. Both methods have the same name, add, but differ in their parameter types. This allows for flexibility in using the add method with different data types. In this example, the animal class has a makeSound method that prints a generic sound. The dog class extends the animal class and overrides the makeSound method to specify that a dog barks. This demonstrates method overriding, where a subclass provides a specific implementation of a method defined in its parent class. In this example, the shape class has a draw method that prints a generic message about drawing a shape. The circle class extends the shape class and overrides the draw method to specify that a circle is being drawn. This demonstrates method overriding, where a subclass provides a specific implementation of a method defined in its parent class. Method overloading allows you to define multiple methods with the same name but different parameters in Java. It provides a way to perform different tasks with the same method name based on the type and number of arguments provided. The compiler determines which method to call based on the arguments provided at the time of method invocation. The parameters used in overloaded methods are different in terms of data type, order, or number. The return type of the method is not considered when deciding which method to call. In this example, the class myClass has three methods named myMethod. The first method takes an int parameter, the second method takes a string parameter, and the third method takes two int parameters. The actual implementation of the methods is not shown here, but you can imagine that each method would perform a different task based on the type and number of arguments provided. In Java, method overriding allows you to provide a different implementation for a method in a subclass, based on the method signature in the superclass. Method overriding is used to achieve runtime polymorphism in object-oriented programming. To override a method, the subclass must declare a method with the same name, return type, and parameters as the superclass method. The overridden method in the subclass can have a different implementation than the base class method. The method in the subclass must have the same or broader access modifier than the method in the superclass. The keyword override can be used to explicitly indicate that a method is intended to override a method in the superclass. In this example, we have a base class called animal with a method named sound, which prints animal is making a sound. We have a subclass called dog, which extends the animal class. The subclass overrides the sound method and prints dog is barking. This demonstrates method overriding in Java. Method overloading is a way to have multiple methods in Java with the same name but with different parameters. This helps in enhancing code readability and provides flexibility in calling methods with different arguments. The compiler determines which method to call at compile time based on the arguments passed. Method overloading is also known as compile time polymorphism. Method overriding is when a subclass provides its own implementation of a method that is already defined in its parent class. The method in the subclass must have the same method signature as the method in the parent class. Overriding allows a subclass to provide different behavior for the same method defined in its parent class. The method to be called is determined at runtime based on the object type. Method overriding is also known as runtime polymorphism. In this code snippet, we have a class called animal with a method named makeSound. This method prints, animal is making a sound. Then, we have a subclass called dog that extends the animal class. The dog class overrides the makeSound method and prints, dog is barking. When we create an object of the dog class and call the makeSound method, it will print, dog is barking, instead of, animal is making a sound. Method overloading and overriding are powerful tools in Java. Overloading allows us to define multiple methods with the same name but different parameters, improving code flexibility and readability. Overriding lets subclasses provide their own implementations of methods, enabling polymorphism. These features enhance code structure and make it easier to work with objects. Let's take a look at this Java code snippet. We have a class called example, with two methods named printName. The first method takes a single parameter, name, and simply prints it. The second method takes two parameters, first name and last name, and prints them together. In the main method, we create an instance of example and call both versions of printName with different arguments. This demonstrates method overloading in action. In Java, we have two important features called method overloading and overriding. Method overloading allows us to have multiple methods with the same name but different parameters. On the other hand, method overriding occurs when a subclass has a method with the same name and parameters as a method in its superclass. The main difference between method overloading and overriding is that overloading is resolved at compile time while overriding is resolved at runtime. Overloading is useful when we want to define different versions of a method to handle different types of input. Method overloading is achieved by specifying different parameter lists for the methods. The return type of the methods does not matter for overloading. Overloaded methods can have different access modifiers. Overloading allows you to have methods with the same name but different functionalities. The compiler determines which method to call based on the arguments passed to the method. Method overriding is achieved by using inheritance. The subclass method must have the same return type and name as the method in the superclass. The access modifier of the overridden method can be the same or less restrictive than the superclass method. The subclass method can throw fewer or no checked exceptions, but it must not throw new or broader checked exceptions. When a method is called on an object, the JVM looks for the method in the actual class of the object and its superclasses. Let's take an example to understand method overriding in Java. Here, we have a parent class called animal with a method called makeSound that prints, the animal makes a sound. We also have a child class called dog that extends the animal class. The dog class overrides the makeSound method and prints, the dog barks. When we create an object of the dog class and call the makeSound method, it will print, the dog barks, instead of, the animal makes a sound. Now, let's look at an example of method overloading in Java. Here, we have a calculator class with two methods called add. The first add method takes two integers as parameters and returns their sum as an integer. The second add method takes two doubles as parameters and returns their sum as a double. By overloading the add method, we can use the same method name to perform addition with different types of input parameters.